Hey, so fam, Amelia Adair here. I hope you guys are feeling good and doing good. I'm feeling good, I'm doing good, and you know I got a great topic for you always. Ooh, let's get into some things, so fam. Let's get into some things. Now, for those that are new to the channel, welcome, we welcome you. We elevate, we heal, we work on being better versions of ourselves than we were yesterday. Yeah. Now let's get into today's topic, so fam. I'm gonna just start off by saying that when you're building a relationship with God and you're getting closer to God, don't explain yourself to everybody. When we start this relationship and it becomes stronger and we become closer, we become happy. We become so happy that we want to share it with everyone. We want everyone to see us, see the relationship. We want everyone to have the same relationship, and we're so thrilled and we're so happy. And the first thing you want to do is share it with everyone. And not to say don't share it, so bam, share it. Do what you do. But just be mindful, right? That everyone is not going to have the same eyes as you. And so I learned this early on that, like, wait, everyone don't have a relationship with God? Wait, when you start developing your relationship with God and you start to realize, wait, everybody don't, And so you start to see more truth, right? And you start to see things that you probably wasn't ready to see, but you're never really ready, right? And so when you start building this relationship with God and being more in the spirit and being more spiritual, religious, whichever term you prefer to use, you want to be mindful that the relationship that you're building is personal, right? Someone else isn't going to have the same exact experience or situation as you. It may be similar. It may be something that they went through that can help you, but it's not going to be as personal. And I think personally that's what I love about my relationship with God is like I have that trust, right? God creates this trust that you feel safe, you feel heard, right? You feel empowered. Sometimes you feel hurt, right? Sometimes it's like you don't get your way. And you still like, all right, God, well, what you want me to do? It's still like that love and that tough love that's needed for growth. And so I started to say all that to say that start to have more respect for that relationship that you are developing. Sometimes we have this relationship with God and we can not tarnish it because God isn't going to turn his back, but we can start to get confused because we start to share it with everyone that doesn't necessarily have our best interest at heart, right? If you're sharing some good news with someone that don't have your best interest at heart, then they can easily kind of come in. They could come into where they don't belong. It's like letting a robber come into your house and see what all your valuables are, right? So when you're working with with that relationship and you're building that relationship, be mindful that everyone doesn't have that relationship and everyone doesn't always want what's best for you. It's an unfortunate world that we live in, but we can't ignore this world that is now here. Which brings me to another point, so fam, is like taking responsibility for your actions, right? There's going to be a lot of, how could you say, I want to say the H word, but a lot of dislike for God because of how the world has panned out. When you understand that you have free will, right? Just like many others, right? So there's many others who have taking their own initiative to do what they want to do, right? They wanted to rebel and do what they wanted to do. And that does not mean God wanted that to happen, or God made that happen, or God did that. We as people do what we want to do now, right? We know we're not supposed to eat that Snickers after 9 p.m. But when the ice cream truck rolled by and that temptation rolled by, and he got the Snicker flavor ice cream, you're gonna be tempted. You're gonna go right down there to that ice cream truck and you're gonna eat your ice cream, right? Now that's just ice cream. That's being a little more funny about it, but when you take it to a serious level, so fam, people know what's right and what's wrong, right? People know what feels good and what don't feel good. And there are others out there that enjoy the thrill of things that don't feel good. They enjoy pain. There's people that have been in pain for so long, have been stuck in their pain for so long, so man, that they love it. They love it. They love to complain about it. They love for things to keep happening. They are in love with the chaos that they live in. And they don't want to do the work, or maybe they don't know, who's to say, but to do the work to make those changes. It's hard to make changes and stand by those changes and stand by those words and stand by this new version of yourself that you're creating and you're walking in and things like that. That takes a lot of strength, so fam. Sometimes we do it like it's easy because it's easy to us because we've made our mind up. When you make up your mind, everything is easy, right? But when you're still confused and you're still battling, that's where the challenge comes in. Because here come that ice cream truck, right? It look good, but you know, chocolate give you pimples after 9. You know, just giving you an example. But you know that when you fall into temptation, it's harder for you to get back up. You know when you're not disciplined, you're not going to see the results. You know the things that you want to accomplish, and in order to accomplish it, it's not going to be easy. And when you still know that and accept the challenge, that's you. It may not be everyone around you. Everyone around you is comfortable. Everyone around you got their feet up, you know, margaritas flowing. Everybody's comfortable. Rather it's a good comfort or it's an okay comfort. That comfort, they're comfortable. Someone that's comfortable, so fam, let's talk about someone that's comfortable. Someone that's comfortable, so fam, it's not really worried about bills being due because they know they make enough, right? Or they have someone that pays their bills. Or not really facing any challenges to grow outside of what's been happening in the past couple years, right? So they have a routine. Their routine is working. Everything is great. We're not going to touch it. We're going to just leave it. I go to work from 9 to 5. I come home. I watch the news, and I cook dinner, and everything is great. I'm comfortable. I don't want change. I don't want to make any changes here to possibly be better. See, that faith and that unknowing scares a lot of people. It scares them more than the fear that is pushed in the world, you know, like on the media, the news and things like that. Faith scares them more than that. Okay? So they will stay comfortable. And they will sit back. And you gotta understand, so fam, those who aren't being challenged and being pushed perish. What does that mean? When you're not constantly having a conversation with God, and you're not constantly going through trials and tribulations, and you're not constantly working and putting yourself, to be a better version of yourself, you just kind of don't have that motivation. You just kind of stay stagnant. So not to say you perish completely, but your spirit slowly perishes because it's not being used. It's not living. Right? When you do the same thing every single day, you kind of tone out those inner voices. You kind of tone out what God is asking you to do. And you stay in one place. And when you stay in one place like that, that's what everyone around you, as far as children, may see, and that's what they're going to do. It'll be a cycle. You'll just be in a cycle that doesn't elevate up, right? So when you're choosing to get closer to God, challenge your shortcomings, try again, think of new plans, get a coach, take some courses, get advanced, right? You're reaching, you're climbing, you're trying, you're working hard, mentally, physically, and spiritually. You're reaching for the goals, and reaching and reaching and reaching. You're moving. You're moving. You're doing. You're pushing beyond those limits. You're grateful for, yes, what you accomplished, right? You take that moment and you have your gratitude. But in addition, rather, not to say but, in addition, you're striving to be in a better position. You're striving to move up, right? You're striving to try new things. You're striving to make the challenge more challenging. This generation that we lived in evolved from slavery, right? And not being able to drink from the same water fountains, right? So now that we have accomplished that much freedom, we started to realize, wait, that wasn't freedom, right? So now we're pushing beyond those limits, right? Now we're growing beyond those limits. Now we're looking for ways to really have the freedom that we deserve, and have the freedom of not being overworked, not being overlooked, not being told how you should follow God, not being scripted, right? Not a scripture, scripted, like having the exact words to say in the exact moment, and then when they don't come out right, you're upset about it. That's what I mean when I say scripted. Not being scripted in these relationships. Having a voice. Having control of your actions and your reactions. Right? And just having that mindfulness as you're growing, and that mindfulness as you're elevating. And being able to discern when something is for you and when something is not for you. And when you start growing in that space and creating that relationship with God, as you're building that relationship with God, take time to see truth, hear truth, and walk in truth. And take your time, so fam. Sometimes we get so excited and we start rushing and we start doing 20 to 30 things at one time. Take it one step at a time so that you have clarity, understanding, comprehending. Some of us, we get one nugget of knowledge and we don't really understand it. And we don't have clarity with it. And then we're running around speaking to people that don't have a relationship with God. When you're building your relationship with God, make sure those around you have a relationship with God as well. Because if you take time and you start sharing and you start to see later on, God don't live there. God didn't do that. It start to get real clear, right? And when you see, oh wait, God didn't do that, you'll save yourself time and energy. Because one thing God will show you is don't be fooled. Okay? Don't be a fool. And don't be fooled. Okay? And the best way to make sure you're not being fooled and you're not being a fool is to be honest with yourself. And be honest with what you see. Because, honey, those emotions will have you just seeing everything but the truth. Your heart will tell you the truth, right? But it's your emotions that get in the way. So, heal those emotions, Sophia. Figure out what's bothering you, what's bottled up. Get clarity and operate from a clear space. And you will start to see things shift in your life in a positive direction, in a way that God planned it out, right? Planned it out so beautifully. You'll be like, oh, that was easy. You have a little laugh. You ain't gotta have a little laugh later on. All right, Soul Fam. In order to be a part of the Soul Fam, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and apply the knowledge. More importantly, Soul Fam, apply the knowledge. Okay, sometimes we hear so much knowledge and we just be having it in our notepad, and we don't apply it in areas where it's ready to be applied. So apply that knowledge. If you need to book a session and have a conversation with me, book a session and have a conversation with me. Let's chat. Conversation is great for ideas. It sparks you up where you need to be sparked up. Or if you just need a course, I have some courses below. Check out the courses. And 77 pieces of poetry. Maybe you just need a good book to read. Read you a good book. Bring you some peace. All right. And reading is fundamental, so fam. Read you a book. Go down to the library. Find you a good book to read. You always have a book on your counter that you're looking at, glancing at, thinking about, whatever. Get that book close to you. And you'll start to see things start to shift in your life. So fam, all right. Amelia Atia here. Thank you guys for always tuning in. And I'm going to see you at the next one. Bye for now.